Hello. In this video, I will cover the essentials and the strategies of planning and allocating your B2B SaaS marketing budget. This topic is important for us because as an agency, we work with B2B SaaS businesses, and we often see how proper budgeting is affecting the overall marketing activity of the business and, of course, the marketing results. So to allocate the budget properly, you need to be aware of the best practices and approaches that generally exist, and from standard calculation methods to a little bit more in-depth things that you can also keep in mind. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about how to properly allocate your marketing budget, how to calculate it, which approaches exist, and what would be the best strategy to utilize. So the standard and the most kind of industry standard method of allocating the marketing budget for B2B SaaS would be the budget calculation as a percentage of revenue. So as a rule of thumb, you can allocate up to 10% of your revenue towards your marketing budget. And that would be a fair benchmark because between 2014 to 2022, as long as we have the statistics, the SaaS businesses allocated anything between 10.4 to 6.4 percentages of their revenue towards their marketing. The marketing budget calculated as a percentage of revenue are shrinking a little bit year by year, and the pandemic also brought some corrections toward that rule of thumb. But in 2021, the mean percentage of the budget was around 10%. So if you are looking at the quickest and easiest benchmark on how to allocate your B2B SaaS marketing budget as compared to your revenue, allocating that as anything between 7 to 10% of your revenue would be a fair amount. So another method that you can use, it's a little bit more advanced, is to allocate your budget as the based on the famous LTV to CAC values. So this is a standard concept that's used in quite a bit of areas of SaaS companies' evaluation and planning. So when it comes to budgeting, you might want to look into your LTV to CAC values and make one of three decisions. If your LTV to CAC is 1-to-1 or less, you are losing money on every customer that you acquire, and it's too early for you to increase your marketing spend. If you are within 3-to-1 classical range, then you are on track to a sustainable business, and you can keep your marketing budget as it is right now. If you are 4-to-1 or up, it means that you are scaling, and this is a good indicator that you may want to invest more into your marketing. For the categories, you will mainly have the following ones. You will have people, you have that's something that you spend to pay the salaries for your team and for your contractors and freelancers. Don't forget about training and travel expenses. Yes, we're back from post-pandemic. Everybody is traveling right now. So this percentage needs to be counted in. Demand and lead generation. This is another great area for budget allocation, content marketing, software and tools, and product marketing. So among those categories, the category of people would occupy anything between 45 to 55% typically. The lead generation will be another up to 20% line item on your sales marketing budget. And for the content marketing, that's going to be around 5 to 7%, taking into account the content production and also like illustrations design and content distribution and promotion. This percentage can be increased if you really invest into your content marketing effort and you see it paying off. So this content marketing thing can be wrapped under demand and lead generation and can occupy a bigger portion of your budget. The software and tools I usually take something between 4 and 5%, and for the product marketing, where we're talking about online reviews, programs, market research, and seasonal promo campaigns, that's another like 7 to 10%. So You might want to allocate budget to a couple of more categories if you're investing into them, and if you are in the stage where you have the PR and brand awareness as a part of your marketing mix. And if events is a great part of your marketing strategy, then you need to make sure that you allocated enough budget to support those two activities, the PR and events. Budget reserves is the ad hoc spend or anything that you allocate for scale, growth, or any other tasks that might pop up during the year. It's a good practice to have up to 2% of your marketing budget as reserved, and therefore you don't need to reallocate or renegotiate your budget with your stakeholders because you already took care of that. The lead generation and the marketing channels allocation really depend on the ROI. Let's set the topic of the ROI measurement aside and look more at the benchmarks of the channels that typically are in the SaaS marketing mix, and see what are the acceptable spending benchmarks for key marketing channel for your SaaS. So first, let's break it down the channels to organic, everything that relates to SEO, content marketing, personal branding, and organic social media. Then paid, those are paid ads, sponsored content, and PR, and offline, which are trade shows, and maybe if you use outdoor ads, that's going to be it. When you look at those budget categories, you need to make sure that you take into account the monthly costs and the average time to ROI, and also ROI level. The budgets with the channels with the highest ROI level are SEO, content marketing, and personal branding, with paid ads and sponsored content being second in that cohort. So the monthly cost of your SEO, if you are on the seed to Series A stage, can vary between 2 to 5K. The content marketing effort, depending on how much content you produce, between 3 to 7K. Thought leadership and personal branding usually take another 2 to 7K, and your organic SMM on the production side usually will cost around 1.5 to 3K. So if you're looking at the minimal viable budget for your organic channels, that's going to be anything between 7.5 to 15K or more if you're investing heavier into the content marketing. For the paid ads, it really depends on the CPL that you can afford. The paid ads are endless in terms of the budget spending, but you should not start any paid campaigns if you have less than 3K for the clicks ads, for the clicks budgets. Typically, the range of clicks budgets for seed to Series A SaaS company would range between 5 to 40K, depending on how profitable the channel is in the overall marketing mix. Trade shows and outdoor ads really depend on the level of your activity, but knowing that you can plan one event per year, that's going to be between 10 to 25K per, and with the outdoor ads, it really depends on the area and where you typically would like to place them. But keep in mind that with the outdoor ads, the measurement is a little bit complicated, and the average time to ROI can be quite long. But typically, an outdoor ad campaign can cost you anything between 10 to 50K. Lead gen and demand gen, those two categories are highly measurable when it comes to planning. You can count in the metrics like impressions for the paid ads or for the keyword that you plan to use. Then you can have the benchmarks, CTRs, to calculate the clicks or visits to your website that you're planning to generate. And after that, you can take into account the approximate conversion rates using your CRM benchmarks or industry benchmarks. So this calculation is pretty much straightforward. It's all about the numbers. So this is one of the easiest ways that you can use to actually see and a good projection of what kind of CPL you can expect from the channels like paid ads or even the content marketing. And you can also forecast the results from your content marketing and SEO effort quite easily, knowing your LTV and knowing your costs and how those costs are allocated. The budget's review and adjustments are recommended to happen at least quarterly basis, because you need to stay on track, and it's highly advisable to have like the monthly benchmarks on how you are pacing towards the budgets that you have allocated. So regular measurements are extremely important for both keeping your budget spent on track and measuring your marketing activity performance. There are three key concepts that you need to be aware. First is the percentage of revenue, then the percentage based on your operating expenses, and by LTV to CAC ratio. The rule of thumb is anything between 10 to 14% of revenue, up to 40% of your operation expenses, and the fast-growing companies can increase this percentage to 50. If you have 3-to-1 LTV to CAC, it means you are on the way to the sustainable business. If you have 4-to-1 and higher, you can invest more into your B2B SaaS marketing. And if you're talking about the percentage of spend that needs to go to the digital marketing channels in 2023, the most recent survey of this B2B SaaS CEOs showed that around 80% of the B2B SaaS marketing spend is in digital channels. So if you are looking at your breakdown between offline and online, the 80-20 rule applies. So as a conclusion, please keep in mind the stage where your B2B SaaS company is when you're planning the SaaS marketing budget. For the faster growing companies and for companies with the healthy and established LTV to CAC, the marketing spend can be higher than for the ones who are just starting or are on the way to the sustainable business and revenue generation. So and when it comes to budget categories, it's really important to make sure that you count in your people, demand and lead generation, content marketing, software and tools, product marketing, and of course, some PR brand and awareness and events if you're at this stage. And don't forget to allocate 1 to 2% of your overall planned budget to some resource. Hope this video is helpful. We have a bit more information in the guide that's located in our blog. Please check out the video description for the link to that particular article. And thanks for watching. Thank you.